Welcome back to the Immigration Answers Show. I'm Jim Hacking, and this is episode 1048 of the Immigration Answers Show. I am in a interesting place here at the Renaissance Amsterdam Hotel. We got here around midday, maybe a little earlier. We were able to check in. My man Kyle at the front desk was able to set us up. I will be here for the next 90 minutes. As long as you guys have questions, I will do my best to answer them. Walaikum salam, Ryan. Hello, everybody. Good to see everyone. Hey, we haven't done roll call in a while. Why don't you let us all know where you're watching from and why you're watching this show? There was an interesting question. Let me turn on the comments. There was an interesting question from David. This show is addictive. Someone tell me why. I have some thoughts on that. I think people like to hear what goes on in other people's cases. I think there's a little bit of voyeurism. I think they like to think that at least I wouldn't make that mistake, or that they can learn from other people's mistakes. I think there's lots of little bits and pieces of it that people really get a kick out of. I appreciate everybody who's watching. I appreciate those who want to come ask me a question. Today is my sister Carrie's birthday, so we wish her the best of birthdays and all the good blessings in the new year. I'm really disappointed because I am 8 hours ahead of, or 7 hours ahead of everybody else, and I could have been the first one to wish her happy birthday, but my sister Molly was still awake and did not wait. She just went right ahead and beat me to it. Priscilla says, I started watching you when I was going through my green card process. Now I got my green card. I can't stop watching. Haha. Greetings from San Antonio. All right. All here to learn while going through the process ourselves. That's right. Happy birthday to Jim's sister, Carrie. Thank you, Julian. We'll be in Amsterdam today and tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. Pretty cool area. Lots of walking. We're in the sort of central area. Oh, I felt really bad. We took a cab into the city, and our cab driver got sort of flustered because this road was closed. So he made this quick turn, and a local officer gave him a ticket while I was the passenger in the taxi. And it was a €320 ticket. So he was illin'. So I gave him a big fat tip to try to make him feel a little bit better, but it didn't make up for that. Looks like Amani just woke up. Or is getting moving, I guess. They're going to go celebrate my sister's birthday. All right. Long Island. All right. We like Long Island. We got New Jersey, already naturalized, but still learning. We got Maryland here. Virginia's working. We're working on their case. I just sent out an update on the case. So hopefully people feel like they're getting their news updates on the lawsuit as well over there. So let me let some people into the waiting room so that I can start asking people what's what. Let's go ahead. I think Aziz was here yesterday trying to get on. Hi, Aziz. You're on mute. Hello, Aziz. I don't know what's up. AZ, hello. Hello, AZ. We can't hear you. What's going on? Can I remarry my ex-husband and file a new petition? Yes, you could do that. All right, let's go to N400. Hello.
Good morning, Jim. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Hey, Jim. Thank you. Happy Sunday. Hope you having a good day over there. Couple of updates. This is my third time calling your show. I am from Venezuela. My N400 ceremony was canceled after my interview. Actually, back in April, the beginning of April, well, actually April 13th, I got a note that my oath ceremony had been scheduled or rescheduled, and it's actually taking place on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday in the morning, the 6th. So I plan to go there, and I have a couple of questions for you. Number one, with everything that is going on, I did, by the way, my N400 on my own. I prepared it. It was a simple case. So anyway, long story short, what do you think are the odds of them actually maybe taking me out of the ceremony again, as probably they did back in December? Number two, the question I have for you is. Um, I have my parents here in the US. They are Venezuelans too, and they are TPS holders or were TPS holders. They're currently out of status. They entered legally, and why not? One of the drivers for me of like doing this citizenship, I want to get them
Citizenship.
looking into it. I want to petition them. Yeah, I want to petition them as soon as I get naturalized, so they are at least have a process pending. So those are the two questions I have for you.
So of my 197, a few have started getting their ceremonies, and a few have naturalized. Two naturalized on Friday. So I do think that it's possible that they'll go ahead with your ceremony on Wednesday. So I'd say probably 70% chance you're going to become a citizen. Will you let me know either way?
Okay.
And then, yeah, sure. As soon as you get your certificate, you file those I-130s for your parents.
Okay. Question with the updates, Jim, in regards to, I mean, I think the updates that they published last week or the last couple of weeks are I-130s for partners or spouses now still subject to the hold, or they have been kind of like taken out of this December hold?
Say that again. I don't understand.
Um, the question that I have for you is the I-130 petitions uh, for parents or
Yeah, those are
spouses.
those are
Right. The question is, are are the I-130 petitions still part? I mean, my parents again, Venezuelans, will they be subject to the hold? In other words, should I look for options to join like this lawsuit that you have coming up, or other lawsuits in the case of them? It's like I would like to understand what is the latest status of family petitions for again the 39 countries.
those are still on hold. Yep, those they would still be on hold. You can't join a lawsuit until you have a case on file, though. So your case is receded, and then go from there.
Right. Well, I mean, I know I might not have the option to join the lawsuit that you have ongoing currently, but
Yep.
I will be probably contacting you to see if there is another round or something. Something was not clear to me is in that memo. They said that the some I-130s are not part of the hold, and I don't know if that is correct or not. I mean, it's kind of like that vague language they put in that update.
It was extremely vague, and what I've come to believe that it means is that the hold no longer applies to I-130s for people that are going to consular process. But of course, that's not much of a consolation or a help because those people still have to uh, go to the consulate, and they're subject to the visa ban. So it's like, yeah, we'll process your I-130s, but we know that the State Department's never going to give you the visa while the hold is in place.
Well, but they are here in the U.S.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that memo that said they're lifting things doesn't apply to the adjustment of status of U.S. citizen parent cases. Does that make sense? So in other words, they're still subject to the hold. Your mom and
Okay.
dad.
Okay, my parents will be still subject to the hold, even though I'll be filing within the next, I don't know, couple of weeks or so. If again the ceremony goes through, which I hope it is the case on Wednesday, so they're
Yeah.
still subject to the hold.
Yeah. Let me know. Thanks so
All
much.
right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Bye bye. All right. Let's go to everybody. Don't put in your last names. That makes things harder for me. Hold on here. I'm gonna give Aziz one more shot at this, and then I'm not gonna do it anymore.
Hey,
Aziz, are you there?
hey,
Hello.
Jim, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got two of you in the waiting room. I'm not sure what's going on, but I think we're good. Go ahead.
Hey, Jim, good morning. This is Aziz. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Yeah, I'm calling from Voorhees, New Jersey area here. So I work on a H1B here for a telecom company. So my question is, I'm currently going through a H1B extension process, and this is my third extension with the current employer. So we filed the extension last year back in June, and it was in regular processing. And then we didn't hear anything back for like 8 months. So then I upgraded the petition to premium. And in the premium, this was back in March this year, I upgraded to premium. After 13, 14 days, we got an RFE for wet signatures on I-129 form. And the employer attorney has replied back to that RFE.
Okay.
After replying to the RFE, which was last week, um, we got an update on USCIS website. So it went through multiple changes on the same day which the RFE was received, saying that we received your RFE response, premium processing clock started, then it says RFE response received again, and then finally it says that your premium processing clock has stopped. So I'm just trying to understand. And one more important thing is my I-94 is currently expired last year in November.
Your what
And
is expired? Your what expired? I-94?
I-94.
Okay. I couldn't hear you. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So and I'm able to work legally using the 240-day rule, right?
Yep.
So that 240 days is also coming to an end in July, end of July. So right now I have roughly like 12 weeks in hand, hoping that premium will go through smooth and we don't have to take any aggressive actions. So what should be our, so first question I'm trying to understand is, when premium processing clock stops says on USCIS website, what does it mean?
Well, here's what I want you to understand. I believe that you received the alerts in backwards order. I believe that was in place. That was a trigger by the fact that they sent you the RFE. I don't think you should read too much into it that it says that it's paused now. When did you originally file the case?
Case was filed last year in June 13th.
And it's still under premium processing and they're still screwing around with it. Did you say this is the second RFE or the first?
No. So premium was upgraded this year, March 15th. So I waited for 8 months and then upgraded to premium. And after upgrading to premium, after like 10 days or 11 days into premium processing clock, they gave me an RFE for wet signatures.
Okay.
And once we responded back, that was happened on 28th of April, we responded back.
That's the only thing they asked for?
Sorry?
That's the only thing that they asked for?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know how long you've watched this show, but I put zero weight or stock in what they put in the online updates. I think they're pretty worthless. So right. I don't know that we can know what exactly is going on with your case, but if I'm 12 weeks out and my H-1B is going to expire, or my ability to work is going to expire, I'd be given serious thought to filing my own lawsuit against them to try to get them to pay attention to your case. I might give them 2 weeks from when you sent in the RFE response. And if you don't have an indication that the case is moving forward, I'd probably sue them.
Okay, in that scenario, right, since a H-1B is an employer petition, right, it's not an employee's petition, can we, as an employee, can we file the mandamus?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Yep. And does it have to be like employee's attorney need to do it, or can I go and hire someone else?
Yeah, no, we could do it. Yep, we've done that before. We've done that for many people.
In that case, what documentation do we need, like from an employer's attorney? Do we need like the packet they sent?
I mean, we would like the packet if you have it, because it has all the background information that helps us draft the lawsuit easier. But really, all that we technically need is sort of your immigration history and the H-1B receipt notice, and then probably the premium processing upgrade receipt, and we'd be good to go. We don't need much.
Okay, got you. And I seriously hope, right, because it's I'm seeing this kind of a status on many applicants, and it's getting resolved in 15 days window of premium. Uh,
Perfect.
I feel like it's an interim update on the website, not like going to stay for their long time. But as a internally, I also feel like since my 240-day clock is ticking, right, and
Yep. Yep.
with weeks left, I'm at the same time worried because it would be like loss of pay. You have everything at stake here, right? Your kids, your insurance, your everything is at stake. So I want to seriously understand what are my options on the table to help this resolve soon. So,
Well, we can get a lawsuit on file pretty quickly. So, just monitor it day by day. And then if you need our help, let us know.
and when we file the lawsuit, right, what's the process? Can you help me understand? Is it like 60
Sure.
days?
So let's say that you decided today to sue them. Okay. I would
Right.
send you a contract. You would read it. You would see that you would say, yes, I want to proceed. You'd sign the contract. You'd pay the filing fee, which is $405, and then you would pay at least 2,000 of the 4,000 legal fee, and then you could pay it all up front if you wanted, but whatever. And then once you pay, then we would ask you for those documents that I just mentioned.
Mhm.
Paralegal would get the lawsuit all put together, and we would file it on the defendants. The way that it works is we file it in federal court. Where is either you located or the employer located if they're different places?
We're pretty much in the same metropolitan area, Philadelphia.
Yeah, so we would file in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, and once they open up the case, they send us copies of the lawsuit and these things that are called summonses. So a summons is a notice to USCIS, to Joseph Edlow, to everybody else, the field office director, or maybe the service center, whatever. We sue them and send them all a copy of the lawsuit, and it says, "Hey, yo, Aziz sued your ass in federal court. You gotta respond to this lawsuit in 60 days." And typically, what happens is around day 45, day 50, they call up and they say, or they email us and say, "Hey, Jim, I'm the U.S. attorney. I'm assigned to Aziz's case. I talked to the government attorneys and they're ready to issue a decision." Or, "Jim, I've talked to the government attorneys and they want him to come in for an interview." They wouldn't do that on an H-1B, but they might ask for a little more evidence. But usually what it is, it's just a way to get them to pay
Moving.
attention to pay your attention. Like, it might sound like scary to sue the government and all this stuff, but it's just business to them. And so it's not like you and I are going to go into court and try to convince the judge as to why your case should get moving. Although I think you have some compelling arguments, we might have to do that on paper, but I would imagine that most likely what's going to happen is that they're just going to get to work on your case and then we dismiss it.
Okay, and I just want to make a note that I'm from India and not part of any travel ban countries.
Yeah.
Also. So I just, yeah, I hope this is not serious at this point, but at the same time, you need to be like aware of what you need to do when you are in a situation where,
Well, the clock's ticking. That's
that's the main thing.
pretty serious. It's pretty serious, just like you said. You've got a lot of stuff weighing on you.
Yeah, especially like when you are the only one who is like a bread and butter for your family, right?
Yep.
So yeah,
Thank
no,
you, Aziz.
I
We're
keep
ready. We're ready when you are. Just let us know, okay?
I'll keep you in touch. I have your email. I'll let you know how the things go in next 2 weeks.
Sounds good, Aziz. Good luck. Hopefully you won't need us.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Jim.
Hey, brother. Yep. All right. Let's do go home or stay. I thought we finished yesterday, but we got cut off at the end. How are you?
Hey, Jim, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm not sure if it was my connection yesterday. Hope it's no trouble. I recalled.
No. Just remind me what was. I remember you were thinking about consular processing, but you're from a travel ban country. And
No, I'm not from the banned country. I'm from the 75.
Yeah, same thing. But I mean, it's just a different ban. So
Oh, okay.
I believe that if you leave the United States and that thing does not get challenged in court or is not victorious in court, that it's going to be on the books for at least the rest of the Trump administration. And so I think I would, if I'm an immigrant and I'm looking at the possibility of fighting it out here in the United States or fighting it out in the face of a ban, I would take my chances here every single day if I could afford it.
Okay. I just had a couple questions. I just wanted to ask real quick.
Yep.
Um, so if I do end up planning to stay and adjust my status, what evidence would be good to upload to prove that I didn't intend to stay on my tourist visa and that I did really change my mind?
I mean, we have videos on this. We've talked about it a lot on the show, but basically the central issue is, did you have a good reason to go back? Did you have plans to go back? Had you not abandoned your whole life back home, like quit a job, ended your lease, all that stuff? So any of that kind of stuff is good. And then whatever evidence you can come up with, and it can just be testimony from you and your spouse as to why you changed your mind. And of course, I think I've talked about this like 4 times in the last 2 weeks. So I think we were talking about when you were making this decision, it was sort of when things were going crazy in Minnesota. Is that right? Or is that somebody else?
Nah, that's probably somebody else.
Okay. Well, when did you decide to stay?
Um, well, I still haven't ultimately decided as yet. I just was really looking at my options.
Okay.
But I'm really weighing on the staying factor, as I said.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think it'd be completely legitimate to say, look, you assholes, I had every plan to go back home, but once your government started playing games with making it impossible for me to get an immigrant visa, you sort of left me with no choice. But I think that ban was in place when you entered, right? So you might not have that argument.
Yeah, it was in place.
Yeah, so that's tougher. And you probably shouldn't call them assholes.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't. The other question I just wanted to ask Jim, should I wait after the 60-day mark or should I wait after the 90-day mark to apply?
The 90-day mark is just something that the State Department thinks about from time to time. I've never had that come up. It's to me, it's 60 days.
Okay, no problem. All right. So the last question I just had for you, Jim, was in your experience, I still have my job back at home because, I never truly planned to stay. But if
Yeah,
I do decide to stay, I was planning to apply for a work permit as well. Are those
sure.
taking long, in your experience or?
Yeah, if you watch the show, most people aren't getting their work authorization at all. They're just they're not getting their work card. They're getting scheduled for a green card interview about 4 months after they apply, which makes people excited to think they're just going to get the green card so they can stop worrying about their EAD. But then they never get their EAD and their green card case sits. So I would say people getting their work cards quickly after applying for a marriage-based green card, that's sort of become a relic of the past. I haven't really seen that in a while.
Ugh,
Like 6 months at least.
ugh.
Yep.
Okay.
So
All right.
people in your situation always have to balance all these different factors. And if one of the factors is the ability to work legally, that might seriously be a reason to go back home.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Jim. I guess I have some more stuff to think about.
Peace, brother.
All right. Bye, Jim.
Bye-bye. All right, let's go to D. Hello, D.
Hey, good morning, Jim. How are you?
You know when I see D what I want to say, right? I'm trying really hard not.
Good morning, Jim. Good morning, Jim. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I just have a quick question. So I'm a
Sure.
naturalized citizen. I'm a naturalized citizen.
Awesome.
I filed for my son in the consulate in my country of Guyana. He got his U.S. passport, but when I filed for him, they gave us a certificate. Do I still have to file the N600 for him?
So you have the passport, and the question
Yeah.
is whether. So here's my thoughts on that, and we had a really interesting situation on the show about a month ago where we had 2 callers back to back. The first caller was asking the same. They were a parent asking the same questions that you're asking me now. The caller right after that was someone whose parents had never gotten them an N600, and it screwed up their ability when they tried. It screwed up. They later, that child, although a citizen in the eyes of the State Department, had applied for a green card for their spouse, and USCIS asked that kid for proof that they're a U.S. citizen. So even
Yeah,
though
Yeah, I was watching the show. I hear. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
watching the show. Then yeah.
Yeah. So I believe, I know it's expensive. I know it's like $1,100 or whatever, but I would look at this as an investment in my child's future and something that's gonna. I mean, I would say if I pay for it now and they're 12 and they're gonna live to be 90, then the peace of mind for 80 years of having demonstrated 100% that they are in fact a U.S. citizen, because you never
Yeah.
know, some crazy fucking nut is going to get elected president, the ice
And
around trying to find the non-citizen. So
well, it's the
um,
peace of mind. Is the peace of mind I need right now. That's why God, I don't want today something happened to me in the future. Something happened. So
I vote for that.
so y'all who was the cost of it to your team?
What do we charge? I think 4,000.
Okay, no problem. Could somebody reach out to me? Yeah?
Can you email me, D? No one's working this weekend, so if you email me directly, I'll put my email in the comments, and then I'll make sure that they follow up with you.
Okay, no problem. I will do. I
Okay.
just want to be on the right side. If it didn't,
I think that's the right way to think about it.
thank you, Jim.
Peace, D. See you, buddy.
All right then. All right.
Ha! Got him. Nurse Laura's here. What's she talking about? Not all of California is LA or San Diego. But it's just because we like to talk about San Diego all the time on this show. And in fact, I was in my mastermind yesterday, and one of the people was from Romania, and we were talking about how people in Europe, like we had a 35-minute flight from London to Amsterdam to go from one country to another. So like in America, that's sort of crazy. Like just to fly across the state of Missouri, it takes 45, 50 minutes. Or to fly to Chicago takes 55 minutes. So the idea that I could fly from here to there, and then he was saying that they were flying to Austin, Texas through New York, and they got stuck in Austin. His wife said, well, that's no problem. We'll just drive to Austin, and that's 3,000 miles, right? That would have been like time to turn around and come home. Oh, housing prices in California. Oh, you know where I would never want to live in Chicago? The Inland Empire. The Inland Empire. Is that what they call it? There's some weird place. It's sort of like where Simi Valley is, I think, and sort of that conservative part of Orange County. There's a whole book about how like the Klan and Nazis are huge in Orange County. I started reading it, but it was just too sad. I had to stop reading it. And I'm done reading it. I put it down to stop reading. Then my mom gives me another book about the Klan in Indiana. The Klan got its start in Indiana. So what the hell? Oh, I just remember I had a dream the other day. I was chasing a guy in a Klan robe. I had a scythe and I was trying to get him. That was fun. That was just Mimi says the Inland Empire is the butthole of California. Well, that's probably a little bit more than I would say, but I liked it. Oh, okay. So Robert's getting me squared away. Inland Empire is east of LA, and what I'm speaking of is south. I wouldn't want to live in either of them. I mean, I've told Nurse Laura this. I don't like that San Bernardino office. I've had some big fights at that place. God is awesome. There is a link to the marriage-based evidence. Let me see if I can find it while we take our next caller. No last name, I-131. Hello. Hello, you're
Hello.
on mute.
Hey, Jim. Good
Hi.
morning.
Hello.
Hey, thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I do have a question regarding the I-131.
Mhm.
I am one of the banned country. I did apply late on 2024. This case is taking forever for them to adjudicate it. Especially that I'm one of the banned country. When I see like there is no response, I file multiple time an expedite request based on the emergency that I have. But I was not able to get their attention until I file a mandamus lawsuit. Couple months later, state attorney communicate with me. They ask me if they can do stay on the case because they cannot adjudicate it even if they try. but because of like the ban countries, um, and then I try multiple times to do with Congress is not moving. So my question is, if I have a green card based on asylum and I have to really travel to a third country, is that okay to use home country passport?
Only if you want to maybe lose your green card.
No.
Yeah, so that would be so first of all, that's one thing I want to clarify. So the 131 that you have pending is a refugee travel document.
That's correct.
And is the mandamus a case that we filed or somebody else filed?
Somebody else filed.
Okay. So is your lawsuit like stayed while this issue is being decided, or how what's the posture of your mandamus lawsuit?
Can you rephrase the question?
Sure.
I did not get it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you hired a lawyer, right? And they filed a lawsuit for
Right.
it, right? And then
That's
it came time for the defendants to answer, and it sounded like what you said is they reached out to your attorney and said,
Right.
"Hey, we can't adjudicate this even if we want to because of the pause," right?
Right.
Okay. When did that happen?
Last week.
Oh, just last week.
Just last week.
And what federal district? Yep.
And was not an attorney. I did file by myself.
So that was dumb. That was really dumb because you don't know what you're doing. And they're going to file a motion to dismiss and you're not going to know how to answer it. So that was foolish. But in any event, if I were your lawyer handling your mandamus lawsuit, what I would do is send them the decision that the judge ruled in our favor on Thursday, saying that the pause is illegal and that what you want to do, I mean, what I would do now if I were you is try to hire an attorney to negotiate this for you and to tell them that they're wrong and my judge and other judges have ruled that that it's illegal, pause is illegal, and see where it goes from there. So just to get to the other part of your question, the idea that you're going to use your old country's passport. So I don't know if you saw, but like probably 4 or 5 months into the Trump administration, they said that they were creating a denaturalization task force and that they were going to review everybody's green card that got it under Biden because they think that
Wow.
Biden was giving out green cards like candy. And I said at that time when I heard that I thought the ripest area for USCIS to dig around to try to see if they can mess with people who've already received immigration benefits would be people that applied for asylum and either went back to their country after they got asylum or after they got their green card or even after they got their citizenship. And we've already seen 2 inquiries from the Department of Justice saying, hey, we found out that after you got your citizenship, you went back to Iran 3 times. And so we're going to try to take away your citizenship. We've seen it on a green card case. So I don't think it's much of a jump from there to going after people's green cards for availing themselves of using their country's old passport. I think it's a harder case for them to make, but I still think they could try it. And of course, if they're trying that, that means you're in removal. And I would imagine that's not where you want to be.
Yes. Now, in my situation, Mr. Jim, how you can help me to correct what I'm at right now?
Well, it sounds like
To
you
get
don't
it
have
done.
it sounds like you have a pretty decent U.S. attorney. Like they're not an asshole, right? Like it sounds like because really, it sounds like they called you up and said, look, you're not represented. You might not know how these things work, but he was just trying to get you to go away because he thought or she thought that you didn't know how the law worked. And so I would say they could have just been a jerk and filed a motion to dismiss, and then you're screwed anyway, right? Of course,
Right.
that would involve work on their part, and it's easier to call you and try to make you go away. Did they say they wanted to just pause your lawsuit, or what did they say they wanted to do about the lawsuit itself?
They talked to the USCIS. They try to do the case,
That's all
but
bullshit. They didn't, no, that's like saying I got to go talk to my manager at the car dealer. That's all bullshit. So just, when they say, "Oh, well, I'm trying to be the voice of reason," but my client, they're terrible. Like or my clients, they're really reasonable. They'd really like to help you, but they can't because of mean old Joe Edlow and Trump. So that's just spin. What's the long and the short of it? What did they say? They wanted you to dismiss it? Did they say they wanted to?
no,
What
they
did
did
they
not
say?
mention that. They just want 90 days. No,
Oh,
either 60 or 90 days. I'm not really sure.
yeah. So it's the
But
same type of thing.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So my big question is, what district is your lawsuit in?
It was in Santa Clara District or
So
San Jose
California.
District, California.
Okay. And you said was, but you just mean that's where you filed it. It's still pending there, right?
Yeah, it's still pending. They just asked me to stay. And in there, like from what they say, if anything's changed before like those days, we can work on it. But as of right now, since there is nothing in our hand, is we just have to stay. If you agree on this, we can tell to the judge we can stay on the case. And I did agree with this.
Sure. I mean, we agree to that time. We agree to that sometimes too when they ask us, because you're just trying to get things moving and get along with everybody. I get that. So has the judge entered that stay?
Yes, he did, and I received a mail to my home saying the
Okay.
judge he agreed to stay on the case.
Okay. So what I would do then is, so you agreed to 90 or 60?
60, I think 60. I'm looking
So
to
here-
the email, 60 days.
Yeah. So generally, I have a rule, and this doesn't sound nice, but in my mind, this is the rule in my head. When people file lawsuits on their own, I don't want to do anything after that to help them ever, right? Because it pisses me off that people think that they can use AI and go into federal court and file their own mandamus lawsuit. I mean, that's why I went to law school, right? So it sort of pisses me off. But and I don't right now, since the stay's already been issued, there's not much for anybody to like. We wouldn't enter our appearance and come in and say, "Hey, judge, this is BS. You should lift the stay." We wouldn't do that. So here's what I would say: pay attention to the channel, pay attention to what I'm doing, get on our email list and all that stuff. I think you're going to see some more fireworks in our lawsuit over the next month or month and a half that might bring clarity to your own situation and the situation of everybody involved in these pauses. And that might be, and then what I would say is, if you get to like 45 days, which I think you will, and nothing's going to happen, then we can enter our appearance and tell them to fuck off, that they're wrong, that this pause is illegal. And Santa Clara is in the Northern District of California. There's already been judges that have ruled on smaller cases than mine that this shit's illegal. So, you already have precedent from your own jurisdiction that you can tell them to take that and shove it because they're wrong. And judges in
Right,
your district have already said they're wrong.
right. Well, thank you, Jim. But for now on, there is no use in home country passport.
Well, I mean, you do what you want. I mean, first of all, if you watch the show, I've been telling anyone who's not a citizen not to leave the United States, but I would sure as hell. I mean, what are you going to do? Let's just play it out. Okay, so you really need to travel, and you go travel, and you come back, and you get some asshole from CBP, and they say, "Yo, Mahmoud, you have this passport from your old country, but didn't you say that you wanted asylum from that country? Why in the hell are you using your old?" I mean, I think they're flagging this shit. Like, they're looking for this shit. So I think that would be a very dangerous thing to do.
Right, right. Okay. Well, yeah. Thank you, Jim.
Sorry, buddy. I'm sorry I don't have more for you.
Thank you. No problem. Thanks.
All right. This is the Immigration Answers Show. My name is Jim Hacking. This is episode 1048 today. I think I forgot to say. Oh yeah, it's May 3rd, my sister's birthday. All right. Let's go to Eva. Hello, Eva.
Hi, Jamie. Thank you for your time.
Sure.
Happy birthday to your sister, and I hope you are enjoying your trip to Europe.
I sure am. It's been great.
So, just a recap, we talked once before. I'm a Greek citizen married to a US citizen since July 2023. We applied for I-130, I-485. My dad passed away suddenly February 2024. I got bad advice from the US Embassy in Greece. I traveled without authorization. When I got back to the States, I got a removal for 5 years. So my question is, the second I-130 that we filed March 2025 is still pending. It's now 14 months. Does it make sense for someone that it's not on the banned countries to file a lawsuit?
Well, first of all, I guess, why did you file a second I-130? Because you
I
didn't
got
have
this advice from a lawyer. Well, by the way, the I-130 from 2023 is still pending. The I-485, of course, got denied since I left.
Sure. So the reason why 14 months is around, your spouse is a US citizen.
Yeah.
14 months is about the time where you would expect to get a final decision. So I would say 14 to 16 months. But the truth of the matter is you've confused them, because even though that shit's locked down with your 5-year bar on coming back and your abandonment of your green card, even though that shit's all locked down, there's still this I-130 pending out there, and there's an I-130 pending here, and they're confused as to why there are two.
Yes.
So I believe that unless you make some headway by calling USCIS every day for the next week or so, if that doesn't work, and saying, hey, look, I know I might have confused you. I have an old I-130, but my dad died. By the way, I'm sorry about your dad. I forgot to say that.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, we had a team member this week lose her dad, and whenever that happens, it makes me sad thinking about my dad. So anyway, I think you need to call USCIS for about a week. I think that you might not be able to get any kind of real help from them until you sue them, right? Because they're just not going to be able to compute.
Yeah.
This lady has two I-130s. And the good thing is, I mean, I never would have filed a second I-130, but since you did, we can say, look, these Hoosiers have been waiting extra long. Like, when did you file the first I-130?
August 2023.
Yeah, so we sue them on that one, and then we say, and look, this sister even went above and beyond and filed a second one, and they haven't decided either one of them. We don't care which one they approve.
Yeah.
Just chop, get to it. And so, having an I-130 that's been pending for 3 years, even though weird things happen, is a good thing when it comes to a lawsuit.
Awesome. So I can email you and okay.
Yep.
Just a question, because I remember you told me I will need the I-212. I mean, the ban is almost over in 2.5 years, and I'm seeing that the average processing for I-212 at the moment is 38 months. Does it make sense for me to do that, or just, wait out the
I'd have to see your exact paperwork, but no, if it's just the 5 years, then you're right. I mean, you're not going to get, even if they approve the I-130 today, you're talking 4-6 months at NBC, then wait. I mean, maybe, but yeah, you're not going to get it in time. So maybe you just get it all taken care of, and then you just keep the case alive until your 5 years are up.
Awesome. And I know you'll be talking about notifying USAS for change of address. So I came to DR to work so we can be closer with my husband, so he can visit more often, because, we want to continue living our lives. So I'm staying in Airbnbs and don't have like a permanent address. Do I have to notify them in this case?
So would it be fair to say that your home in Greece is still your permanent address?
Yes. I do own my house in Greece, so I have all my mail coming there.
You're just visiting DR. You don't live there.
Okay, perfect.
But the thing is, though, Okay, so it's a little bit complicated, but like in your mind, where did you think your embassy interview was going to happen?
In Athens, in Greece, definitely.
Okay.
Like, I'm just waiting. Whenever I hear back, I'm going back. It's like,
Yeah, so you're just a nomad bouncing around the Caribbean.
yeah. So, I'm working remotely, so that's a perk. And my husband still is looking for a remote job, so we can be in Greece or somewhere. Just the important thing is for us to be together.
Awesome. Thanks, Eva.
All right. Thank you so much. I will email you. Have a great day.
Okay, bye-bye. Laura's got me thinking about French dip. Not that it's healthy, but there's this great place. It's like a 1950s kind of place in St. Louis called Cafe Manhattan. And they have a seasoned beef sandwich on cheese garlic bread. Ooh, it's good. Reubens are good too, Julian. But I got Nora on that French dip. Nora is like her brother. Where did you guys know that I made chili every day for Nora for a year and a half, twice, 2 different times? And then she'll eat it, and then she'll not want any of it ever again for like ever. Ismail used to do that with like fish sticks, and Nora gets Chipotle on the brain, and she goes like every day for 5 days, and then she stops. It's so funny. I think she gets that from my dad. Nadia is here. Hello, Nadia.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Nadia. How are you? Yes, I can.
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for doing this. I just had a couple questions. So I am a naturalized citizen. Got my citizenship back in 2016 through my parents. And I filed last December, I filed a I-130, a concurrent filing to petition for my husband.
Awesome.
And so I filed the paperwork on my own, included all of the required documents, lease, marriage certificate, photos, just everything proving our relationship as well. And then our case moved pretty fast. He was then scheduled in January for his biometrics. And then in March, early March of this year, we had our interview. And the interview went pretty well for the most part. The officer didn't ask us any questions about when we met or anything. He seemed as though he really didn't know what he was doing. And then probably, I want to say like 2-3 weeks after that, we've then received a notice of intent to deny. And then we hired an attorney. And so we had the attorney file the response just a few days ago. I guess my question for you is just based on everything that's going on and your insight on this, what do you think the likelihood would be for us to sort of move forward with a positive response?
On the day that you got married to your spouse, what was their immigration status?
They are a F1 student visa, and they're still in status. So they maintain status. He's been here since 2017, and he's remained a F1 student.
Has he gotten any degrees?
Yes. So he got his bachelor's, and then he's doing his master's degree.
Have either of you been married before?
No.
What did they ask for? That's very strange that they run this very easy interview and then they don't send you an RFE and they just send a notice of intent to deny. So what was the basis of the notice of intent to deny?
Yeah, it's pretty much just the Bonafide marriage to prove that, because the burden is on me. And then to prove my citizenship. Initially, I uploaded and I took all my documents with to the interview as well, my naturalized certificate and also my U.S. passport. The attorney that we hired said the same thing, that it's very strange that we received the notice of intent to deny.
Well, I do think, I hate to say this, I bet $10 that there's some kind of memo out there that either incentivizes or gives them a gold star for the number of notices of intent to deny or denials that they send, even if they're bullshit.
Yeah.
Is there an age gap?
Excuse me?
Is there an age gap between you and your spouse?
About 4 years. Yeah, 4 years.
That's nothing. Is your spouse from the same country you're from?
No, he's from the Caribbean.
Okay. And they didn't separate you at the interview?
No, did not separate us. I mean, the officer was really nice. He was pretty much just just going through like he first started with the I-130, went through questions, we gave our passports. He then went to the 485 application, asked my husband questions as well. He seemed like he didn't know what he was doing, to be honest. Just kept on, trying to just save the information that he's clicking on, and then also
that was my next question.
Yeah.
Do you think that we're an experienced officer or a new officer?
I think more new of an officer. Yeah, I think fairly new.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is a little bit of evidence and 10 is a shitload of evidence, where would you say you and your spouse fall on?
I would probably say
6 or 5.
Yeah, probably like a 6. Yeah, I would probably say.
Okay, well let's talk about that real quick. Do you have a joint bank account?
Yeah, we have a joint bank account. Yes, so we opened up the joint bank account after our interview.
After you did it.
Why is that?
We've just honestly just been putting it on a hold. I moved into his apartment in July of 2025, and we've been meaning to do it, but again, this process is so stressful that we weren't sure, like, do we open the account after we filed, and are they going to think like, oh, it's just for immigration purposes? And so once we hired the attorney, they will just start moving the account, and so we've been starting to use the joint bank account, but we opened it up like very recently.
What about did you get added to his lease?
Yes, I did get added to his lease. Yes.
And do they have proof of that?
Yes, they have proof of that. Yes, and
I mean, it's very strange to get. It's strange to receive a notice of intent to deny that includes a complaint about the Bonafide marriage. Like usually that question is asked before the interview. That's why I thought maybe you had an inexperienced officer, like maybe a supervisor looked at this and said, they don't even have a joint bank account. Like I had a client the other day. I know that I won their case because I had them upload all of their joint bank accounts, and it was a very, very robust bank account, like where they were both using it every single day. And I think that is probably the very best marriage evidence that there is. So when that's not there, it's a big hole.
Yeah, I think that's probably maybe it too, the joint account, because everything else, I mean, we've submitted like so many evidence, like screenshot, like tech. I mean, we've communicated. Excuse me?
How did you meet?
Yeah, we met on a dating app. Yeah, we met on a dating app.
How long did you know each other before you got married?
Probably about a year. Very close to a year.
Okay, that's good. And and your case hasn't been on file that long, right?
No, it hasn't. No, it was moving, as you've mentioned too. What you've been seeing, it moved very fast. I mean, we filed December, and then
that's a whole other thing. When they feel like a case is underdocumented, and I'm going to sort of ding you here because your man had a social security number because he's been here so long on an F1. So you guys should have had the bank account set up before you filed. I mean, then you would have at least had 3 or 4 good months. So when they see the opportunity to get people in quickly for a case in which there's not a lot of evidence, they love that, and that's why they schedule it so quickly, because they can make it look like you guys don't have any evidence at all, you know?
Yeah, that's what we're thinking too with the evidence. Yeah, and I mean, we've only have so much with everything. I mean, we've been together. Yeah, I mean, for about what 2 years almost. Yeah, going into 2.5 years. So we don't have a vast, amount of evidence. But yeah, we're just curious to sort of get your insight on that. We're still waiting. We just filed the reply to for the notice of intent to deny.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna sit on it. I think they're gonna come to a site visit, and then they're gonna decide what they want to do. But
Oh,
I think a lot of people's cases like this are on hold because they're putting in this new security thing, and so I just think you're gonna be sitting there waiting.
waiting. Yeah, that's what the attorney said. I guess the attorney was estimating based on our case. I mean, I don't know. She said it's a really strong case. She said that it might be like up to 2 months that we might wait, but then again, it might be up to 6 months. So we just in that little.
I think it'll be closer to 6,
Oh,
and I
wow.
think more will be revealed, either interview or site visit or both.
Or both. Okay. And then just to confirm with you, based on my understanding, so I mean, we filed the reply to the notice of intent to deny. So I can't upload any like new evidence, right, to my
Yeah,
portal.
go for it. Go for
Oh,
it.
I can. Oh, okay. Okay. So I can upload. All right. So I wasn't too sure about that.
Thanks, Nadia. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Jim. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. This is interesting. Shauna and Laura are talking about their stubborn husbands. I see how it is. Is it Father's Day or Husband's Day? Let's all badmouth our husbands for being stubborn. Just teasing, just teasing. Somebody from Hacking Immigration Law is sending messages to people. I assume that's Huli. She's the only one crazy enough besides me to work on a Saturday. Huli, if you're here, let me know. Nurse Laura. I bet Greg's pretty chill. Do you think it's overkill to take our U.S. passports with us in a road trip, me and the kids? No, I think that's not overkill. N400 question. Hello.
Hello, Uncle Jim. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, how you doing? Thank you so much for taking my call, and thank you for what you do for the community.
You got it.
So I have a simple question. I filed for my N400. I had my interview on November 5th.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up. All right, we'll come back. Let's go to Ayan. Hello, Ayan. Ayan, you're on mute.
Hello,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. I have a question. I won't take that much time. I did apply my husband for a visa, and then National Visa Center was complete his documentation in 2023. Then he have an interview on December 2024. At that time, they told him that everything is fine. They're gonna let him know if he able to get the visa or if they need more information about him. We didn't get anything, no response, nothing, no email. Then on February 2025, they sent us an email saying that, hey, you have to look at this checklist for your upcoming interview. So make sure everything is finished, or you have to bring all the documentation, or you just send them through, where we basically send the documentation on National Visa Center. We send whatever we're supposed to be sending, and then we just wait and see what they mean for like checklist for your interview. But then we didn't get anything, any emails, any calls or anything saying that we might do another interview or nothing like that. This year, we get a letter from them saying that we terminate your visa because you abandoned. So I just want to know what's going on, or like what's the next thing that I should be doing, or like why are they doing that?
So as far as you were concerned, you were the last ones to have replied to them, right?
Me and my husband. So basically, I have his email and everything.
Right, but what I'm saying is, let's say that issues related to the case are a ball that you're handing back and forth between you and the State Department. In your mind, the ball was with State Department, right?
Mm-hmm. No, I think the emails that I'm getting is from Djibouti, whatever they call it,
Mm-hmm.
the embassy in Djibouti. That's what
But
he's doing.
that's the State Department, yeah. So
yes.
What was the before you got the notice of termination? What was the last thing that happened?
The last thing that happened was like they sent me an email saying that checklist for pre-interview. So make sure you have all of this ready, or you can submit them at the same time, bring them at your interview. But we didn't get anything else.
And then the next thing was how much later did they then send you the notice?
The checklist that the email was February 2025, and then this year 2026, I think it was April this month or last month. That's when I get the termination letter. So they say in 1 year you abandon your visa, so we terminate your letter.
Did you respond?
Not yet, so that's why I just want a euro.
You need to respond. If I were you, what I would do is send them an email and a letter, a whole timeline of everything that happened, and said, look, we've just been sitting here waiting for an interview. You shouldn't have terminated this. This was wrong. And then see what they say.
Okay. So I don't have to go a lawyer or anything like that. I just have to respond to their emails.
I think a lawyer is going to do a better job of it. But I think having a lawyer involved would be helpful. But I mean, it seems like they made a mistake, and now you just got to convince them that they made the mistake.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because they're saying you have 1 year to just let us know what happened for that time, so that we can reinstate. Otherwise, it will be case closed.
Yep.
Okay, so I will respond to them through email and see what they say, and then if they continue to their excuse, then the next step will be going and look for a lawyer.
What country is he from?
Somalia.
Yeah, so he's got a ban anyway on coming, right?
Yeah, but like I don't know why they're making an excuse for like sending me saying that we terminated. I don't concern about him being banned, but like closing the whole case is another thing.
You're right. Yep, they're playing tricks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they just ban his fees, saying that because it's already banned, then we're gonna wait for after all this finish. But then for them just closing the whole case, terminating, and then closing after 1 year, that means if I want to do again, then we have to start from scratch, and that's what I'm trying to avoid it.
Thanks, Ian.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Bye. Let's go to Sam. Hello, Sam. Sam, you're on mute. All right, Sam's not there. Plaintiff granted PI. Hello.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Good. Are you one of my plaintiffs?
Yes.
And we can't talk about the case. Send me an email.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. Hi, Farzana. Oh, nope. I got her last name on there. Guys, don't put your last names. I'm trying to keep everyone's identity secret. Hi, Farzana.
Hi, how are you?
Good. What's up?
Good. Thank you for your time. I just had one quick question. I'm from the bank countries, and unfortunately, my oath ceremony was canceled. But on Friday, I received a notification that as of May 1st, they're working on my case. Do you think that I'm gonna see anything, any action taken on my case, or is just a notification that they sent everybody?
No, I think it's possible. I think it's like a 25% chance that they're working on your case.
I'm
But
asking because all of my friends who have the same situation, we all received the same notification. So I'm not sure if that was a fake notification or we should be
I
hearing
mean,
something from them.
as I say on the show all the time, and as I said earlier today, I don't put much stock at all in what they say online. You know, to me, it
Okay,
doesn't matter till I'm sworn in as a U.S. citizen. Everything else until then is lying.
right. Yeah. So you would recommend a lawsuit, like getting a lawyer and then sue them, or just wait
Yeah, I mean,
maybe?
we're gonna file another lawsuit. So this week we're putting together our next lawsuit. So if you want to be in that lawsuit, that I think would be your best bet. But maybe something's happening. So whatever you want to do is fine with me. I'm not going to try to talk you into it. But
Sure.
yep.
And when do you have planned, like in next month, or when is the next lawsuit?
The
Do you?
deadline to join it is Friday, and then we'll probably file it, sometime next week, I would imagine.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, Farzana. All right, we got N400 question. Hello. We might have got that person already. I don't know. I can let some more people in.
Hello, Uncle Jim. Can you hear me now?
All right. Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Okay, Uncle Jim. I'll be quick. So I applied for M400 last year in June. Had my interview on November. I passed everything, but I'm waiting for a decision. So my question is, I got my green card through my wife, which is a naturalized citizen she's from Venezuela. So my question is, because she's being from those banned countries, is that affecting my M400?
What country are you from?
I'm from Peru.
Yeah, I mean, maybe technically it is, but here's the thing, brother. If you had your interview and testing in November, is that what you said?
Yes.
120 days have gone by, so you can go to court right now and sue them and try to get a judge to naturalize you or order them to naturalize you. You're in a very strong position because the 120 there's a 120-day rule. They have to decide it within 120 days, and they didn't.
Okay, that's it. Mandamus, writ of mandamus?
Correct.
Okay. I heard there's a new executive order ordering new prints, FBI background checks. Will that affect that too, or no?
They can, my philosophy on that is they can fuck off. 1447B is more important than that. So I don't think the law is the law. When you have 120 days and you've applied for citizenship, they can add a bunch of fingerprints and bullshit background checks. But no, I would tell a judge, none of that has anything to do with this statute, which trumps their stupid rules.
Okay, so your advice is don't wait any longer.
It's up to
Just sue
you.
them.
I don't know. Yeah, I would sue them. And yeah, I would say 90% it's because your wife was originally from Venezuela. That's how unsophisticated they are.
I see. Okay, thank you so much, Uncle Lee.
Yeah, let me know.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Helen is here. Hello, Helen.
Hi, Jim. Thank you for taking my call.
You bet.
So my case is on a pending asylum case. I came here on 2022, so I didn't hear anything from them, and me and my kids. Do you think a mandamus lawsuit is good for my case, or what should I do, or wait for them?
Well, the thing about asylum and mandamus that's a little bit different is that if I sue for somebody for their citizenship and they get denied, they still have their green card, right? Or if I sue to get them their green card, they might still have some other status. But when you sue for asylum, you got to make darn sure that the asylum case is strong. because if they don't get it, then they're going to immigration court. So what I always want to do is make sure that the person who's thinking about filing a lawsuit on the asylum case, you know, like they and their lawyer are ready for anything, because, you know, we can usually get you a decision, but sometimes the decision isn't the decision that you want.
Mhm. And another thing is, my son is now 21 years old and he wants to be on his own. And how can we change his address?
You mean that he's on your asylum case?
Yes,
he
and
wants
the
to-
same asylum case.
Yeah. He would have to fill out an AR-11 and notify the asylum office that he moved.
Okay, so he will be on my case still and live in different addresses.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I would think that would be a bad idea. I don't know. I mean, there's not a legal rule about it, but I think that's a bad idea.
For him to move out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jim.
Good luck, Helen.
All right.
Let's go to interview. Hello.
Hello, Jim.
Hello, interview.
Thank you for accepting my call.
Of course.
Can I hear you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, this is my question. My wife is from one of the banned 39 countries, and she's overseas. I filed for her, and now we are scheduled for the interview. So, do you recommend going to the interview, or?
Yes. Do everything you're supposed to do.
I cannot hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So just you're gonna have to listen to the replay. But yes, your job is to keep doing everything that you're supposed to do. Do the next right thing. Just because there's a ban doesn't mean that you should stop handling your case. They might say you abandoned it, like that caller from before. So I think that's just a bad idea. You should go to the interview. I know it's probably going to cost money to get her there, cost money for the medical. Just keep doing the right thing. Eli is here. Hello, Eli. You're on mute.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm good, Eli. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Jim, for the adjustment of status through Asylum. So if there is like someone from the banned countries, the 39 or 75 doesn't matter. So
what do
you think that? Yeah, 39, 19 actually, not 39.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. What do you think about
the OG ban?
The OG ban. Okay. What do you think about I mean, if I did the adjustment of status, but how do you think if you want to do that, how much you have to weigh to do the lawsuit?
So these lawsuits are not like all of our other lawsuits. All of our other lawsuits are challenging the delay in the processing of a case. What these lawsuits are challenging are an illegal, unauthorized pause that's contrary to the Immigration Nationality Act. So my position is that someone could file it, get a receipt notice back on Tuesday, and be in the lawsuit on Wednesday, because even though USCIS took their money, they're not going to adjudicate their case, which is illegal. And so that concept under the law is called standing. So once you have a case on file, if the agency is doing something illegal that affects you and everybody else that has a case like yours, you have standing to go into court and you don't have to wait.
So that's mean, you can just file the lawsuit and that's it, right? That's right. Oh, okay. But so there is no exact limit, because I just filed the adjustment of status on the November 2025.
Right. So what I was saying is, if you filed it in May of 2026, you could still be in the lawsuit. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, and do you think they can release a decision and all that stuff, right?
Yes, because what they're doing is illegal.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Eli. See you, buddy. We got Rochelle. Hello, Rochelle.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. So my husband just received a denial on his form I-485. They denied him because they said that his transit visa that he entered on is because he came in a
Cruise ship.
vessel, a seafaring vessel, and he needed to return back to it. However, that's actually not how he arrived in the United States. And during the interview, I told the interviewee that he came via India to New York, New York to Miami, Miami to Jamaica, where we got married and returned back. But they said that his visa, his C1 visa is incorrect. And that's why they denied him.
Well, so it's your burden to prove. It's not their burden. It's your burden to prove a valid entry that's eligible for adjustment. Did you not submit evidence as to how he entered?
Yes, we did everything. Well, the lawyer handled everything. Yes.
Okay, what did the lawyer say?
Right now, the lawyer is saying that we can do a motion to appeal or relook at that case because the visa that they have on the denial is the incorrect visa that he entered the U.S. on.
What's your proof of that, though?
What do you mean?
What's your proof? What's the I-94 say? What does his visa stamp say? What is?
It says C1 visa.
It says C1.
Yes, it has a C1 transit visa.
But is that wrong?
Well, I think it's wrong in terms of how they have it down because they're saying that he needs to go back to served.
Stop. Let's pretend you haven't filed yet.
Okay.
You come to me and I say, how did your man enter? What do you say?
Via whichever airlines.
No, that's not a visa. What visa did he have when he entered the
It's a
United States?
C1 visa.
Then he can't adjust.
You can't adjust at all on a C1 visa?
That's right. I mean, actually you can. We did just do this, but if he entered, like the one time we've been able to beat the C1 rap is because the dude did have a C1, but he entered on a B1, B2 after he got the C1. And they tried to say that he got a C1 and he entered on the C1. And so we were able to prove, no, bastards, we were able to show that he entered in fact on a B1 and not on the crewman visa. So we won that case. But if the only visa he's ever had is a C1, I think they're probably right and he's not eligible to adjust.
But isn't the visa that they're claiming on his form is a C1D visa? And that's a crewman's visa?
But I don't care what's on the forms. What visa did he have in his passport?
It says C1.
Yeah, so then he can't adjust.
So C1 visas on totality, so you can't do an adjustment of status.
That's my understanding.
And so our options are, they said that he can leave the country and go back to his home country, and then he would have to be barred for 2 to 3 years, and then we re-enter on a marriage visa. Does that sound correct?
Yep.
Now, is it the bar for 2 to 3 years? Is that an actual bar from the US for 2 to 3 years, or is that just a processing?
I don't know. Could be either one. It depends on what his status was was he in status when you got married, or was he out of status?
We were in status.
So he entered on the C1 when?
April of 2022.
And when did you get married?
February of 2022.
Well, how long was his vet? No. Oh, you got married before he entered?
Yes. We got married in Jamaica.
Okay. So when did you file for his green card?
November of 2022. We filed I-130 in Form 485.
And what was the length of entry he was given by CBP when he entered the United States?
29 days.
Right. So he probably has a 3-year bar because he was probably more than 6 months out of status when you applied for the green card.
So the best alternative you're suggesting is just go through the alternative and have the lawyer file for the being out of the country and filing for admission.
I go back to the first thing I said, which is it's your burden to prove that he's admissible to the United States. And so the conversation I would be having with my lawyer if I were you would be, hey, did the lawyer file the case or did the lawyer take over after you filed it on your own?
No, we've had the lawyer since the beginning.
So did you and the lawyer and your spouse discuss the entry and the C1 issue before you filed?
He didn't say there was a problem with an adjustment of status.
Okay, so that wasn't my question. Did you and your husband and your lawyer discuss the fact that your husband entered on the C1 before you filed?
I don't think so, in terms of this might be incorrect, or I don't understand your question.
Okay. Well, what I'm trying to figure out is, see, in my mind, when you were explaining this to me, I figured that you and your husband filed this thing and then hired an attorney on the back end when things started going south.
No.
What you're telling me is you had an attorney involved from the get-go.
From the beginning, yes.
So there's a big issue. There's a big thing that we talk about with our lawyers and our paralegals, and that issue is, or that the name of that thing we teach our attorneys is issue spotting. So what I'm trying to figure out is who spotted the issue of the fact that he entered on a C1. For instance, I would imagine that you at some point gave your attorney a copy of the visa that was in his passport when he entered. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. When that happened, either before or after that, I mean, so to me, that means your lawyer was was aware before you filed that your husband had entered on a C1. And what I'm trying to figure out is, before you filed, did you all sit around and talk about the fact that it's really effing tough, if not impossible, to adjust status when you enter the United States on a C1? Or did he just buy that stuff that you tried to run past me, which was, well, he came on a plane and he didn't get off a boat, and so therefore he's okay? Like, was that the extent of the analysis, or did the lawyer do some independent thinking?
That's exactly, because I was the one who applied for the visa. I was the one who applied for the visa for him to get him from. But no, to answer your question, no, we didn't discuss that. If I was aware that we would be dealing with this, he would have gone home. But I didn't know you can't do an adjustment of status on a C1 visa.
So would it be fair, sweetheart, to say that it wasn't until the officer raises the interview that you sort of learned that it can be hard to get a green card, if not impossible, when you enter on a C1? Would that be fair to say?
No, I learned it this last week, Monday, when I got this denial that it was impossible.
Oh, shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so all of this is shocking to me.
Okay.
And when I brought it to the attention of my lawyer, he wants to file some motion to this. And so, $10,000 later, we're in this situation.
Okay, that was my next question. So to me, then the question is, does the lawyer want to charge you for that, or does the lawyer offering to do that for free?
To file the motion? No, he's charging. To counteract, tell them that no, they filed it incorrectly. It's the wrong visa. Well, it's the right visa, but he did not come via, he doesn't work on a cruise ship or whatever they're saying that he's doing.
It's the only visa he has, though. He has a crewman's visa. I don't think, here's the thing, and I don't know this for sure, so maybe there's some wiggle room there. Maybe your attorney's some brilliant immigration lawyer that has thought of things that I haven't thought of. Perhaps in order for the ban on being able to get a green card takes two things. Maybe it takes that you have a C1 and you entered on a C1. but he entered on a C1 because he has no other visa, and he's not from a visa waiver country. So I think, I mean, you seem like a nice person, but the idea that you're thinking about paying this guy $10,000 when it seems like this is something they should have caught, or at least you guys should have been going into this eyes wide open. I would say that there was a failure to spot a very big issue here. You sure as F shouldn't be paying anybody $10,000. I thought you were going to say they were offering to do it for free. And if they were doing that, then I thought it might be to cover up their mistake. So I think you might be being too nice. You might be needing to have a harder conversation. Does this person do things other than immigration, or do they do?
He's an immigration lawyer. So when we came back to the U.S., with the intention of him leaving and going back to his home country, and I would file for him, but he stayed. But we went to a lawyer to see what was our rights. Does he have the possibility to stay? Can we do an adjustment of status? So I'm only recanting to you what the lawyer told us.
So in other words, you changed your plan because of the advice you got from the attorney.
Well, I guess another way of saying that, yes.
So it sounds to me like,
because I didn't know there was an issue to do an adjustment of status. I mean, we're supposed to be going by the advice of our lawyer. Seems like a competent individual. So we did that. We went through, there was no issue. We filed the paperwork. He filed the paperwork. I never had any notions that we could not do an adjustment of status for him until last week, Monday, we received a denial saying that a C1 visa cannot do an adjustment of status.
I think it's sort of textbook stuff. I think it's something that is probably taught in immigration classes. I don't think it's something like, I know my paralegals know that.
So before you continue, can I say one brief thing? So the reason why I chose the C1 visa is because I was looking for a transient visa to take him from his home country and allow him to go through the airport in the United States. And with the notion, and I've read it, that a transient visa allows you to go through the US with the end result having to be a country outside of the US, which it was. It was Jamaica, where we got married. And then we returned,
So I'm sorry. I think I didn't understand the weight of everything you're saying. So you're saying that he's not even a crewman. He just happened to have a C1 visa because you thought that was the right way to get him to Jamaica for this destination wedding.
So the crewman, from what I understand, was a C1D visa. He's not a crewman. So when he went through his visa approval in his home country, they denied him first. And then I wrote a letter saying that I just want permission from him to go from his home country and transition to Jamaica. He's not a crewman. During our recent interview that we had, our green card interview last week, the interviewee asked us, how did he get here? I said he came through transit. He came from home country to the US to Jamaica, and then reversed that same route. No time did I ever alluded or told anyone that he was a crewman at all. And I thought there was a subtext with a C1D visa that allows people to transit through the US as long as you're leaving the country.
Yeah,
so my issue is that on the letter in and of itself, it says that he's a crewman, and he's not. And so all of this that I'm telling you was what I told the lawyer from 2022. He said, and I think he initially said, this is a few years ago, initially said that, no, he can't do a transfer visa, adjustment of status on a C1 visa. And I said, well, he's not a crewman. I thought there was this subtext that allows you to transfer through the US. He's never been a crewman.
Yeah, but the problem is, so the problem is that he went to Jamaica, but then he came back with you.
Yes.
And applied for adjustment. I think that's the problem. The transit part of the transit was for him. I mean, first of all, this whole problem started because of the seed of the problem was the weird things that you did. This was not a good plan from the get-go. You made it way too complicated. You just sort of either had him go straight to Jamaica or just got married wherever he's from and not done all this silliness. This became way too complicated, way more than it needed to be.
Well, that was a personal reason for us getting married in Jamaica. So,
but look what you bought yourself.
Well, I mean, obviously, I didn't know from the beginning that would have been the problem. So the question that I have is, would it be better for us to just have him leave the country and then just enter on a marriage visa or fight this?
What country is he from?
India. That's actually what we're wrestling with right now before we meet with our lawyer is it because it's been a lot of time from 2022 and now it's 2026. Us challenging this is going to cost us $3,000. So would it be better in hindsight just to, we'll just fight it he goes back to India, we do the 2 to 3 year ban, and then we'll do the marriage visa, whatever you call it, to bring him back here?
I think that's a great question, and without looking everything over, I can't answer it.
Okay.
But I wish you good luck. Thanks for the call.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. We ended with a bang. Call of the day. Thank you, Rochelle, for that. As I've said many times, I'm always amazed at the knots that people twist themselves up into that I've never heard before in 18 years of practice as an immigration lawyer. I've never heard someone make something relatively straightforward so complicated. Lots of ways to do a wedding in Jamaica that didn't involve this. Too bad. All right. Well, Laura, he would not necessarily have a 10-year bar because when he was applying for adjustment, he was technically not accruing unlawful presence. But could they argue that it wasn't a meritorious application and that therefore the 10-year bar should apply? Maybe. The other problem, though, is on the other hand, if they file a motion to reopen and reconsider, there is no status that he has at that point. So, man, oh man, what a mess. That's too bad. Made it way too complicated getting the C1 visa for a non-crewman. Everybody, that's why you talk to an attorney when you start the process, not when you get the denial notice. Ooh, that's a good hook. I'll be back tomorrow. What time tomorrow? Let's see. We're going there. Probably early afternoon tomorrow, early afternoon Monday. Hope you guys all have a great rest of your Sunday. Thank you all for spending a little bit of time with me, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion.